What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. Boozer here, thanks for stopping by. In today's video we got some pretty big news in regards to some events that will be popping up in game here pretty soon. So first of all, we got this ongoing fusion right now for Yuki Masa, so if you guys are going for him, good luck on that. We do have the Ice Golem tournament along with the Gear Hunters event going on as well, and we do have this summon rush that's going to be happening in about 19 hours. Now, we do have a progressive event that Plarium has announced for this summon event. I'm going to put it up on screen right now. So it says, hey, y'all, this Friday, December 19th, we're planning to launch a progressive event giving you at least 15x chance to summon the champions of your choice, blah, blah, blah. All the standard stuff, every single shard except for promo shards. So we got some pretty nice champions here. We got Newt, Glaciade, Blizzard. All of these are good in their own right? Tatora, Glaciade. Let's talk about them here real quick. So we got Newt here from the Dwarves faction, probably one of the best fusions of all time, or he's always going to be in that conversation as long as dungeons and bosses are structured the way they are. But Newt here, he's famous for his triple max HP hit here. He's a boss killer, one of the best champions for PvE content. Yeah, he's amazing. He's got triple hit freeze as well, one of the best Fire Knight hard champions as well. And then he brings a counter attack with an AoE weaken as well. Great champ. He's got accuracy in all battles, so if you got him, dungeons, if you got him, he's a dungeon specialist, but he can definitely still play in Hydra as well. After Newt, we have Glaciade of the Meltwater. So Glaciade is one of the newer champions here from the Sylvan Watchers. Excellent support champion to me, and I think his overall kit kind of screams Duchess. His base stats remind you of Duchess, almost identical, a little bit faster than Duchess. He's got speed in all battles just like Duchess. He's got an A1 here, bit of a conditional freeze here, doesn't require accuracy. I wouldn't build him with accuracy and just play off of this condition here. He's got an A2 increase attack, perfect veil, turn meter boost on a 4-turn cooldown. So it's similar to Duchess, but Duchess places block debuffs, so a little bit more defensive, and he's a little bit more offensive oriented. He also brings the team revive here on a 4-turn cooldown, as well as placing increased accuracy and increased defense for 3 turns. This is really nice, and you can also use this ability without having to revive anybody. And then you also have this conditional extra turn mechanic, which is really good, which turns this into a 4-turn buff into a 3-turn buff, which makes it way more reasonable. And then his passive, again, more offensive oriented. You're going to give your team a damage boost, as opposed to Duchess, which is basically like a flat AoE damage reduction. Very good champion, great for trials, great for Hydra. Moving on from Glaciade, in the Ogren tribes, we have one of the past Christmas fusions here. We got Blizzard, the Howler, the Abominable Snowman. Great passive here. He has a revive on death, allows him to do some funky stuff in some content. He can solo the Sand Devil, does require specific tunes, doesn't require him to have Brimstone, but he can do that for you. He has a good support ability here on a 4-turn cooldown. He's got an AoE freeze with decreased turn meter, and then he's got a partial cleanse, increased defense, ally protection on a 3-turn cooldown. It's very decent. And then he has a triple hit, chance to freeze here, decent for hard Fire Knight. Pretty cool kit overall, pretty good champion. After him, we have Tatora Rhyme Hide from the High Elves. Kind of strange, but there's a little lion here in the High Elves, I guess. He probably should have been a Skinwalker. But yeah, so Tatora, long time fusion ago, I don't know, 5 years ago or something. He's one of the first fusions that I remember, but maybe not, maybe 4 years ago, somewhere around there. But yeah, Tatora here's got the decreased accuracy, increased defense, block debuffs on a 3-turn cooldown, and then he brings a AoE attack, perfect veil, and then he gets a shield based on the damage that he deals. Also has a passive here that reflects a bit of damage and a chance to freeze. You know, when he was released, he's a pretty good champion, right? He's got the 3-turn block debuff, increased defense, very good for clan boss. Even his A1 was being used for like Bombo and stuff. He's got decent base stats. He's not a bad champ. At some point, I think he was a guarantee as well. He had like a hero's path or something. I remember I went for a second copy of him just to fill out my faction guardians back in the day. But yeah, there he is. Not too bad of a champion, especially if you're just starting out in the game. And then lastly, for the non-voids here, we have Glaciade Soul Guide. So Glaciade Soul Guide here. I recently just did a guide on her. She was just updated, just rebalanced, just buffed. And yeah, she's a lot better than before. 1500 base defense. She is defense based here. She got an A1 chance to freeze with a debuff spread. If they have the freeze condition. She's got an A2 here, AoE attack, steals all the buffs from the enemies and then places a weaken on a 3-turn cooldown. And then on a 4-turn cooldown, her A3 places block debuffs, also places a freeze, and then a turn meter fill on your allies. Not a bad ability here. Good updates for her overall. Her passive was also updated and makes her a lot more useful. She can't have her skills put on cooldown. She places freeze on the enemy that tries to put this champion's skills on cooldown. And then she has a 50% chance of denying that cooldown effect. And this chance can go up now based on how many frozen enemies there are. And then she gets an instant turn now when an enemy tries to put her skills on cooldown. So this updates her ability very, very good. Gives her a chance to come in, CC the enemy, or strip them off, place a weekend. But it definitely allows for a little bit more disruption. She's a lot better than before. Definitely worth taking out of the vault and giving her another try. Like I said, check out the playtest video I have on her if you guys are interested. So that's going to be it for the non-voids starting on Friday. For the void champions here, we have Tormund the Cold, Lady Noelle, and Gurgo the Ogre. All these guys are good. All these guys are good. I have all these guys. Very, very good champions here. So we got Tormund the Cold here from the Dwarf faction, Void Affinity. It's got AoE, chance to freeze, big hit here on the A1. Single target strip, again, ignore defense, big hit here on the A2. And then he has an A3, another AoE attack with the freeze or the block buffs, heal reduction. Excuse me, it's a freeze condition. So if they're not frozen, then he's going to land the provoke instead. Another big AoE attack. And his passive has been Speed Team Nightmares for a long time. Torment has been nerfed at least twice. I don't remember exactly how long, but he's been nerfed at least twice. But he has a chance to land freeze if you place a buff or boost a turn meter. It's just a passive effect. Really, really nice. Active effect, 6-turn cooldown. He revives himself to 100% HP. 6 turns, usually good for maybe 1 revive. He's a defense-based damage dealing champion. I think he doesn't have boosted crit damage or anything like that, but he can hit pretty hard. So if you gear him for damage, he can hit pretty hard for you. He's going to be the first void champion up for grabs. Up next for the Void Champions, we have Lady Noelle. Lady Noelle was the fusion from last Christmas. Very good champion. Has one of the best team revives in the entire game. 3-turn team revive, 50% HP, 50% turn meter. No negatives here. Also places a freeze on the enemy as well. Yeah, one of the best team revives in the game. She brings a A2 increased speed here. Also a anti-sheep ability. A1 block buffs. Passive here that applies a small reduction in speed if they're under freeze. When a sheep debuff expires on the enemy, fill the turn meter by 50%. A little bit of sheep recovery. And then she has a big speed in arena battles. Decent base stats overall. And of course, her bonus with Sir Nick is pretty nuts. So if you have her with Sir Nick, they get infinitely better together. So Lady Noelle here is going to be up for grabs. And then lastly, from the Ogre tribes, we have Gurgo the Ogre. Gurgo right here. He was buffed maybe like 2 years ago. And yeah, he got way better after the buff as well. Gurgo is one of those champions that you can definitely use in arena as well. Unfortunately, Wand of Submission exists, so you know all his freezes and stuff will be a little bit of a problem, but you can't give him like pinpoint gear and he's not so bad. He's got an A1 double hit here if you're frozen. He's got an A2 4-turn cooldown strip with the freeze. So similar to Glacea, or I guess Hilvi. Hilvi is a closer comparison because Hilvi's a 3-turn cooldown, but Gurgo's here is a 4-turn cooldown, but it gives an extra turn. And then he's got an AoE decreased defense, big slam here. It's not too bad, pretty good hit. And then the passive here, chance to freeze if he gets hit. Also, he doesn't get damage reduced by a freeze. Usually when enemies are frozen, they take less damage, but Gurgo bypasses that with his passive, which is nice. And then he brings a big speed in arena battles, which is good. Now, Gurgo can be built with some damage, but he needs everything, every single stat, right? He needs speed, he needs accuracy. He needs gear sets to protect himself from getting frozen, getting wanded, and then he can do some damage too, so you can build him with accuracy. But yeah, he's one of the best, or better, one of the better champions for the Ogre tribes. So nice champion to have. Not sure if he's necessarily like a top champion to chase or anything like that. And then for the epic champions, Creoldin, Neldar, Durandil. Creoldin and Neldar are very good for hard Fire Knight, and that's going to be about it where they're going to be used. I'd say Creoldin actually way more useful in general content. Now that is only part of the announcements. All right, so that's the standard progressive stuff that's happening with Summon Rushes. Now we do have a part 2 to the announcements here today, and this one is the one where you really might get a lot more excited for. So I'm gonna put that on screen right now. All right, guys, so here is the second announcement. On Monday, December 22nd, we're planning to launch a Yuletide Deck of Fate event. and you'll be able to obtain Hilvi, the rhyme called, and other valuable goodies. So this is kind of what I was mentioning maybe like a week or two ago, that there was probably going to be some kind of guaranteed champion that's going to happen during the fusion. And yeah, here it is. It's a little bit earlier than expected because I was expecting it around Christmas time or afterwards, or to connect with some kind of the Christmas events that usually happens. But in this case, it's happening a little bit before Christmas. And it made sense when we saw this fusion schedule. When the fusion was released, we saw that there was a missing dungeon divers, and it totally makes sense that they're gonna put a some kind of juicy event in the middle of the fusion just to make it harder for everybody and get people to spend money. And Hilvi, amazing champion. I just did a showcase on her. I will be posting another showcase with her paired up with Tormin. I think they deserve their own video, but amazing champion. I think this is an amazing opportunity for people to pick her up. She's a huge carry, but let's talk more about this event. You'll be able to earn event points by summoning soul stones, summoning souls from soul stones, and getting artifacts and accessories. So this is the dungeon gear hunter event component. And then the secondary component is soul stones. Now, it was kind of up in the air whether it was going to be soul stones or shards again. Since it starts on Mondays, it starts immediately after the weekend summon rush that it's going to happen in 19 hours. So in a good way, in a way, it's a good thing because it doesn't double tap you for shards. It doesn't double tap you for shards, which is a good thing. But in another way, it's way more restrictive because soul stones is not something that people just have a lot of, especially if you don't spend money or if you haven't been saving for a long time. So it's way more restrictive. And then getting artifacts and accessories, obviously very standard stuff, but it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be cheap, guys, in terms of energy. Usually for a champion from a deck of bait, it's going to cost you between 40,000 to 50,000 energy. That's kind of what we're looking at here. If you want to break that down into gem spending, 13,000 gems, somewhere around there. Just rough estimates. Pretty much it's going to be on, it's going to be in line with what we've done in the past. In terms of how many soul stones you're going to need. In the past, they've given values as low as 60 points per mortal soul stone or 600 points for the medium soul stone. Usually the high end is going to be 900 points for the medium one and 90 for the small one. So it's either 60, 600 or 90, 900, and somewhere in between. I believe RAF was 700 for the medium ones. So it's going to be somewhere in between, which means you're looking at spending anywhere from 45 to 65 medium soul stones, and then you multiply that by 10 for the mortal ones, so anywhere between 450 small ones to 650 small ones. Just something to think about. Like, the numbers are actually very insane, so it's very difficult to do it with one component alone. So it's best to mix and match if you want to try to do this event. Use soul stones, use energy, and it's going to be over several days. It's going to be a 4-day event. So obviously space it out, but just to set your expectations, don't expect to do this with 4,000 energy. Don't expect to do this with 40 mortal soul stones. It's not going to be cheap, guys. Anyways, during this event, you'll be able to collect champion fragments for Hilvi, the rhyme call. 30 fragments will be hitting around 10 common cards, 40 fragments with 8 rare cards, and 30 fragments under 3 epic cards. So 21 cards will have the fragments, and pinned rarity will be disabled for this event. So pinned rarity gives a lot of value for the deck of fate. Because it allows you to kind of hit some of the higher milestone or higher value rewards a little bit easier. So in this case, it's disabled. No surprise there. They don't need to incentivize people to do this anymore because Hilvi is a very good champion and definitely does not need further incentives to participate in. Hilvi the Rhyme Call, like I said, guys, I have a showcase I just released on her yesterday, and I do have a upcoming showcase for her with her partner, Tormin, and they absolutely rock. She's a great champion on her own. She's got an A1 decreased defense here with the Tormin A1 activator as well, 25% chance. In my previous video, I said that she upgrades to 50% chance. It's actually not true. She just has a 25% chance here because her books do not increase this chance. She has an A2 here with the strip and the freeze, and then it also allows Tormin to use his A3 AoEs as well on a 3-turn cooldown. Very strong. And then she has a team-wide revive with the craziest, yeah, it's like one of the craziest team-wide revives as well. Team revive with the block damage, increase speed, and then you can use the block damage, increase speed without actually having to revive anyone, which is nuts. And then it turns into a turn meter fill as well, and it's a 25% turn meter fill, which is big. It's bigger than normal. Turn meter fill with increased speed, it's awesome. And then her passive here also very, very good whenever enemy receives freeze, not just from this champion, it could be from any champion, guys. Whenever enemy play gets frozen, she places HP burn, and then she takes their turn meter. It's crazy. So she can deal damage, she can steal the turn meter, and then if Tormund's on the team, Tormund also gets turn meter boost by the amount that she decreases. So she decreases a bunch of turn meter on a bunch of enemies. Tormund gets a bunch of turn meter added to him. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a really crazy kit, and the fact is she's a non-void legendary, so hopefully people will have a chance to get her, sometime down the line, even if you don't pick her up in this event. But I think for a guaranteed champion, she's amazing. Great base stats, 110 base speed, which means that Plarium probably intended her to be built fast, to probably take advantage of this turn meter boost. I mean, you can definitely build her in many ways. I have a showcase. I have 2 different showcases on her with different builds, and she's very flexible. She can be played with many different builds. She's great in all areas of the game, and with Tormund she gets a lot better as well. And then she brings speed in all battles, which is just universally one of the best auras in the game. Now, what does this mean? What does this mean, guys? Let's look at the player and play calendar here for a second. What does this all mean? So it's gonna mean that people that are doing the fusion will have competing priorities, right? Because the events for Hilvi in this deck of fate will not have any kind of bearing on the fusion. The gear hunter points won't be applied to the fusion in any way, and obviously soul stones don't apply to the fusion in any way. Now, if you were planning to go for the fusion, and then now this deck of fate is looking super juicy, you're gonna have to allocate resources towards the deck of fate, mainly energy. So that's the big thing, right? So if you don't have energy to do your fusion, it's gonna be tough, right? So it's gonna be a little bit of competing priorities here. Like I said, hopefully I've set the table, I've set the expectations for you guys. It's not going to be a cheap event, and because it's relatively restrictive to energy and soul stones, not everybody's going to be able to complete Hilvi. So definitely do your own calculations, take a look at your own resources, see if it's possible. Don't attempt it if it's not possible, and then just keep doing your fusion. But if it is possible, and you do have a real choice of sacrificing the fusion for this champion, that's a really tough choice. I don't know what to really say, but I think Hilvi as a generalist is significantly stronger than the fusion. Like I'm thinking like you could use Hilvi anywhere. You can use Hilvi anywhere. And she is going to be great. Whereas Yuki Masa, he does have a flexible kit, but he's going to be hard to use, hard to build, and probably way more limited in what kind of teams and areas where he's going to be really, really good in. I think Yuki Masa is still pretty good, but I think Hilvi is just on another level, at least relative to Yuki Masa. Now, since Hilvi here is going to be the guaranteed champion, I don't expect them to put another guaranteed champion after Christmas. Christmas, we should be expecting to see some crazy shard events, because that's when they're going to be probably dropping all the pack sales and all that stuff. But I don't expect another champion to pop up after Christmas. So I think we're probably pretty safe there on that regards. It's probably going to be some events maybe for the souls. Could be Hilvi's soul, could be Yuki Masa's soul. It would be interesting if they dropped some kind of a hero's path. Maybe they can put some of the old champions there like Tormund, Sir Nick. Give people a chance to get those champions. Maybe Glaceia might show up again. I was thinking Glaceia had a pretty good chance of being the guaranteed champion as well, but I'm really happy to see that Hilvi is going to be the guaranteed champion. But as of right now, just looking at the calendar, can't really tell exactly what else they can put, but for sure, expect some Christmas pack sales coming for next weekend. All right, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully you guys are all caught up. Hopefully this video was informative for you guys. Hilvi, the rhyme called, is going to be the guaranteed champion coming from a deck of fate starting on Monday. To complete the deck of fate, it's going to be soul stones and dungeon diving, as predicted. Pretty much as soon as we saw the fusion schedule, it's pretty obvious that there's going to be some kind of special event, and here it is. Plarium did not disappoint and offered the champion that we were all hoping for, and it's going to be Hilvi the Rhyme called. Excellent champion. Like I said, make sure you guys check out the 2 showcases on her that I have. I'm going to put it somewhere here in the description, but make sure you guys check that out so you guys get a fresh look at her. Let me know what your plans are in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think about Hilvi. How's your fusion going for Yukimasa? Or let me know how your holidays are going right now. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I appreciate you guys. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. We'd really appreciate that. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video.